Good morning. I feel bad, so y'all be real nice. Bow with me, please. Gracious and good Father, maker of all things wonderful and pleasing, be with us. Let us realize that without you we're nothing. Lead us and guide us. Give us the ability to use what little brains we have to do things that are pleasing for you. Lead, guide, and direct us. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, she was in the office. Okay, we have a new secretary. Oh no, we don't. I thought we would. We have to give him a little bit of credit. He had to present a bill in the Senate. There's not a senator over there, is there? There's another good move. Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm here on House Bill 192. It's about a third of the way down. Very simple bill. It adds to the podiatry code of practice the word cosmetic. It doesn't add any new scope to their practice. It just lets them use the word cosmetic for some of the procedures they perform.
Ms. Pro Tem.
I just had a question. Was there any widespread opposition to the bill in committee?
There was none.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
No, I had the insurance committee.
Oh, I thought you were presenting the Senate.
We're going to do the insurance committee.
Did we pass anything? Mr. Coleman, y'all, if we're nice, maybe he won't come back.
Thank you so much. I hope not. Thank you so much. I really hope you feel better. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. I'm here today to ask for two pieces of legislation today, two bills. The first bill I want to ask for is one I've asked for a couple of times. It's on the second page. It's under Modified Structure Rules. It's House Bill 283. And this is the bill that, of course, that was proposed by the House Education and Finance Study Commission, and it's dealing with Title 20 legislation. It's taking and revising, updating, and deleting many of the areas in Title 20 in 30 sections.
Questions? Next one.
Yes, sir. The next bill I'd like to ask for again is on the back page. It's under the Modified Structure Rule. This is House Bill 327. It's the second piece of legislation coming out of the Education Study Finance Commission. As I mentioned earlier, when I talked about the Title 20, the State Department is developing a report card. We're using 20 indicators, and we'll be grading every individual school in the state and every system. And systems will get a grade from 1 to 100. And what this is developing, it's developing 3 areas of flexibility with strong accountability for these systems. And I won't go into every individual, but it'll be 3 areas, 1, 2, and 3 ratings. If they are 1, that means they're not doing well, and they'll be under state control. They'll be given what help they need and what flexibility they need to try to move them up to a passing grade. If they are 2 or 3, they will be given complete flexibility without any strings attached, but they'll still have to, we'll be telling them what to teach, but they'll have their right to do it how they want to.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Nix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask for House Bill 244. It's on under modified structure and on the back page, the 7th one down. This is our new teacher evaluation bill. Instead of just 2 ratings of satisfactory or unsatisfactory, we would go to a rating of exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, or ineffective. I think it'd be very good for our school systems.
Any questions? Have you got any more, or are you just going along with Brooks?
I've just got one, sir. You gave me the other one yesterday, so I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you. And if you need me to take you to the first aid station, I'll be happy to do so. I want to tell the Madam Speaker, went to Milton last night, Cambridge High School. A little cold, played a little lacrosse, so it was fun. So
Your time's going.
House Bill 293, Mr. Chairman, is one I've spoken to you about. Helps our students who want to go to nursing school. This is for proprietary institution for profit private schools. And you and I have had a discussion about it. So I have not heard from anybody that's opposed to the bill. So be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Roberts.
No questions? Okay.
Ms. Pro Tem.
I had a question. What would be the financial impact to the lottery if the current number of students at the school?
We're looking at a minimum or maximum $250,000.
Okay.
$250,000.
To simply give us, it's the Hope Scholarship to those who
Correct.
In the nursing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Rice.
Mr. Chairman, I applaud the bill, and I thank you for bringing it. Is it not also true that this is going to aid the number of nurses that we graduate inside the state of Georgia?
Oh, absolutely. Since we have a huge nursing shortage, absolutely.
No other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm asking for House Bill 310. This is a cleanup bill that was requested by the Georgia Government Transparency and Campaign Finance Commission, and I would like to thank the majority leader and the minority leader for their help in redrafting this bill.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come back today to address any questions about House Bill 99, which is under modified structure on the front page.
Anybody got questions? Mr. Lindsay.
Representative, thank you for bringing this bill. I think generally it's a good bill, and it'll do a lot of good for a lot of people in terms of their personal freedom. But there hasn't been a question that's been raised, and I think it's important for you to sort of explain it to the committee regarding what exactly is meant by appropriately sealed in a secure location in the car. Tell us about that, if you would.
When we debated the bill in committee, there was concerns that about transport and with my bill not being in compliance or homebrewers being in compliance with open container laws. That has been addressed in the bill, and I'll take you to line 50. It says, if transported in a motor vehicle, the securely sealed containers shall be placed in a locked glove compartment, a locked trunk, or area behind the last upright seat of a motor vehicle that is not equipped with a trunk. Also in Section 2, it also amends that part of the Merlot to-go law, the open container law, and it states, it strikes out a bottle of wine, which is line 76, a container that has been sealed or resealed pursuant to Code Section 354 shall not constitute an open alcoholic beverage container for the purposes of this code section. So it does address that question.
Thank you very much, Representative.
Thank you.
Mr. Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. On the front page under modified open House Bill 337, Mr. Chairman, this bill deals with epinephrine pens, the things kids use when they have an allergy reaction and they stick them with it to save their lives. The legislature did good work a couple of years back when we made these more easily available to the kids who have these allergies in schools. This takes that one step further by saying that a doctor under Georgia law can actually prescribe one of these life-saving shots to a school itself. So the school nurse can have them on hand in case some kid goes into some kind of food allergy or bee sting shock, and they can save their lives. Came unanimously out of education, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions, Mr. Fleming? Good bill.
Thanks, sir.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring for your consideration House Bill 354. This is an education bill. It's under modified structure on page 2 below the middle, 354. And this bill, again, an education bill, replaces definitions of daycare centers to fit industry standards. It brings children to 6 for child safety in family daycare homes, and it provides the Department of Early Care and Learning the ability to administer programs put under their care by the governor.
Any questions? Thank you. Ms. Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please forgive my negligent lateness in filling out your form. My House Bill 21 is not quite on your list yet, but I was here and wanted to ask for your consideration of House Bill 21 tomorrow on adoptions. This is a bill supporting adoptions and giving discretion, non-mandatory, but discretion opportunities for families in the adoption process to improve their relationships. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be back, hopefully.
Yeah, it's on the yellow sheet if y'all are looking for it. She just couldn't get there yesterday or whatever. Thank you. Mr. Brockway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 1, under Modified Open Rule, House Bill 219. Coming back again for a second time to ask for your consideration on this bill. It extends to folks who may have been caught up in human trafficking or sexual exploitation, these same provisions that we provided a couple years ago in House Bill 200, whereby they could provide an affirmative defense that they're victims rather than perpetrators of these crimes. And be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And at the request of the chair, Chairman Knight has returned.
Mr. Chairman.
Because I forgot what he said last time.
Sir?
I forgot what you told me last time.
I forgot what I told you last night, too.
I want to know if Mr. Roberts is all right with this bill. Yes. Y'all aren't going to have a knockdown.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Knight.
Well, 155, and again, Mr. Chairman, at request, make sure everyone on the committee understands this bill. This is Department bill, or at least Section 1 of it is, and this is dealing with the commercial shooting preserves. Again, the underlying issue here is that our out-of-town hunters coming in to shoot on these shooting preserves are currently covered under a blanket shooting preserve license. So they're not getting a license in Georgia. Well, under the Pittman-Robertson Act, which is a federal act, was 1937, hunters, shooters, fishermen, we pay excise tax on our equipment, our firearms, our ammunition, our archery. And that is put into a trust fund at the federal level. And those funds are allocated back to the states based on license, okay? So here we are, Georgia, one of the only few states that has this loophole where we've got all these folks coming into the #1 destination state in the country to hunt, and they don't have to have a license. So we're not getting our fair share or allocation of those excise taxes that are the purchases on the firearms and the ammunition here. And what this bill seeks to address, the heart of the bill seeks to address, is that we're going to put in place so that those out-of-state, non-resident hunters who are coming into a shooting reserve get a license. It's a $12 license, and they can be counted. We've worked with all of the commercial shooting reserves. They're okay with this. They understand the reason for this. And this is going to hopefully add about $300,000 or so back that Georgia should be getting in those taxes, those excise taxes that our hunters, our shooters are paying every year. in ammunition and firearms. The bill also clears up some old code, clarifies some language. It takes care of some issues dealing with hunter education that is a benefit. Y'all remember insurance commissioner got in trouble a couple years ago, the former insurance commissioner. This allows those shooting reserves to put on a little training session, and that will qualify under Georgia code now that those out-of-state non-resident hunters now are certified and there's no issue. Also takes care of the fishing if there's any commercial fishing on that shooting reserve. And that's the heart of the bill there. So this is a good bill. This is a department bill, and very much needed by the department. And I would ask for your favorable consideration.
We got any questions, Mr. Roberts? I just know that if there's one thing wrong in there about hunting or something, the two of y'all will figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Mr. Roberts, the majority leader was speaking to you.
Sir, can we still strangle a fawn and get him to
Oh, Lord. Mr. Dollar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have HB 324. What HB 324 is addressing is based on a recent rule by the Georgia Student Finance Commission. All HOPE eligible students are now required, that's incoming college freshmen and all current HOPE recipients are required to fill out the FAFSA form, which is the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. This is a new phenomenon, and what this bill addresses is that they will not have to fill out this form. The Commission is requiring this form for the sole purpose of establishing that a recipient is a citizen or legal resident. What this bill will do is will allow the Commission to communicate directly with the universities, technical colleges, to verify this. Under current federal law, the schools are required to collect this information and verify this.
Any questions? No. Thank you. Go ahead a second.
Prior to this year, there was a quick form that a student could fill out in lieu of the FAFSA. Is that what this would allow as they go back to the quick streamline?
And that's what we currently do. This does not go into effect until this year, so essentially the fiscal year 14, right. July 1. There is a homegrown, very simple online form right. that the Commission currently uses, and that system would remain. Yes, ma'am.
Although I will say students who are, the universities and colleges actually are currently requiring FAFSA because students have already been admitted for next year. I wonder how that timing would work. I think actually we would have 1 year where kids would probably mostly have to do the FAFSA, which is this year, but this would...
No, this would actually go into effect January or July 1. This bill will go into effect, which is essentially when this rule would go into effect. Right. So it would nullify the rule, and we essentially would be cutting out duplication. It's streamlining the process.
We'll need to make sure that student finance communicates that, because students are currently filling out FAFSA because they currently are being told that they're not eligible for other scholarships unless they and for HOPE. I mean, if you've been admitted, there'll be a little bit of a time period, but the sooner we could get this signed, actually.
Yes, correct.
The quicker they could adjust and know that...
Information is just now starting to pilfer out from the high schools and from the universities to kids that they need to fill this out. That's why this is somewhat being fast-tracked.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
No, let's go back. Come back, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will there be a process at the end of this if people want to use an alternate means to verify qualification in FAFSA? I've had a constituent come to me that said they felt like they were not applying for federal aid and they recognized there needed to be a verification of certain facts about their family to qualify, but he felt like the FAFSA process was overly intrusive and thought there might be another way to verify eligibility. Is there a way to do that?
If I understand the chairman correctly, I think the system that we currently have in place would suit that need. And if you're talking about the verification of citizenship or residency, that step is being taken care of at the ground level on the university side.
Because in practice, students are being told they've got to fill out a FAFSA form. That's kind of what you go do. There may be a possibility to do other things, but that's not widely known and being distributed to students. I wanted to make sure there's nothing in law. As we're taking up the subject matter, there's nothing in law that would prevent that from happening.
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any others? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Willard.
I'd like to ask for House Bill 242. This was the extensive rewrite of the entire juvenile code and also contains the governor's commission recommendations for improvements to how we handle juvenile cases.
Mr. Chairman, how long is this bill?
It's a long bill, but we can explain it very quickly.
How many y'all bear with me for a second here. I'm gonna go. How many amendments has that thing got?
None.
None. So it's come out. Y'all fixed it in committee.
Yes, sir. Long work.
Is my vice chair also judicial person to my right here? Is he gonna have to invoke Rule 33.3 on this one?
Not at all. Not at all. This is a well vetted bill and well received by everyone who's been involved with it. Last year, the one we had came through was a unanimous vote of the House.
Thank you. Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first off would like to move to recommit House Bill 361 back to the Industry and Labor Committee. It needs some fine tuning before we're ready to bring it to the floor.
And he's made a motion here, second. Any opposed? It's back.
Mr. Chairman, my remaining bills, HB 123, HB 199, and HB 362 are all in perfect condition and ready to go to the floor whenever this committee is ready to send them.
Mr. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move we recommit House Bill 318 to the committee from which it came, and hopefully it will race right back to this committee after a minor change or two.
He's made a motion, second. Any opposed? It's back. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask again today for H.R. 281. This is just correcting a wrong of the city or the county of Tift County, to rename it.
Did y'all just misspell Tift? Is that what it was? But you can speak for him today, apparently. Okay. Mr. Peak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm requesting HB 446 under modified structural rule. This is required notice when adult guardianship is being requested by someone in another state. This deals with what's commonly called granny snatching, and it actually is a pretty heinous thing that's happening in many custody cases. It's strongly urged by the Alzheimer's Association. Hope we'll take strong consideration of it.
Any questions, Mr. Peak? The Minority Leader.
I would like to put my name beside HB 21 requested by Representative Oliver. And in anticipation of the minority whip, would like to commend her bill to this committee for consideration.
I hadn't got it on the blue sheet, but it'll be there tomorrow. Ms. Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask for H.R. 73, which is a compensation resolution for Latham Ward. We had this resolution last year, and it did not make it all the way through at the last moment. But it's a resolution to compensate Mr. Ward for having spent about 12 years incarcerated for a crime he did not commit.
Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask for, under modified open, House Bill 139. It's a sheriff's qualifying bill based on some things that happened in our county this last qualifying that brought up some concerns. We simply re-clarify the qualifying provision. And then happy to say that House Bill 393 under modified structure has come back. We made two small technical changes on it. We're giving a due process for any officer that was removed, and also changing the quorum from 50 to 30%.
Any questions? Ms. Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to request House Resolution 218. It simply asks the superintendents to encourage the teachers to teach the Constitution. It is in our curriculum.
Mr. Powell. Any questions, Mr. Powell? Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not a question, it's a request. Our esteemed secretary / sound man, we're having some real difficulty hearing some. I did not hear anything Representative Sims said.
Nobody else did.
Nobody else did either. Oh, it was
She talks a little sweeter and quieter than most of us do. You have to listen hard.
I even missed the sweet, quiet, esteemed chairman of judiciary there. Didn't hear a word he said.
Count your blessings.
I've gone from the sweetest lady in the world, and she followed one of the loudest mouths in the world, and you were asleep. That's the only thing I can tell you. All right. Anybody else? Number 9. Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 213 is a local control bill for pharmacies.
Okay, that's it. Okay, this is for tomorrow, Thursday, under modified structure, HB 242. Any opposition? It's on. And under modified structure, we'll do some education here. HB 244. Now there was an amendment. There was an amendment to put in. What did we put in? A technical amendment to add 2 words, and the 2 words were code sections. So first on. All right, we got who move on the amendment. And okay, wait a second. Go through that one again. 19S. Okay. All those in favor signify by aye. Any opposed? So that one will be on there as the rule substitute. Under modified open, No, modified structure. HB 283. Any opposed? Under modified structure, HB 293. Any opposed? Under modified structure, HB 327. Any opposed? Under modified open, HB 155. Any opposed? Under modified open, HB 324. Any opposed? Under modified structure, HB 156. Any opposed? Under modified open, HR 274. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified open, HR 281. Let's get them named right. That's it.